I have like a cousin that told us, I do not appreciate you guys calling my partner for any reason whatsoever. So we're like, oh, okay. She doesn't care if you're a sister, a niece, I'll call her.
But were you guys calling the partner? Where were you? Was the partner known to you? Like, had they been together? But even for friends after marriage, I think it's a cautionary tale. The whole, this is how things have been running before you came into the
Yeah.
picture. That stuff has to stop.
And this girl was fighting the husband because he kept sending the mother money.
Oh,
So now she was trying to put a financial boundary.
like this is our money.
Yes.
Oh no,
I was very puzzled.
that's sad. That makes me so sad.
It does.
And I'm sure for her in her head, she had her reasons.
Yeah.
Because also money is another thing that comes between so many people.
But it's his money, and
something
that's his
that
mother. So boundaries are important. They are biblical. They are necessary. But I think when we're applying them, how to apply them, how to enforce them, we need to do that with grace, understanding, and yeah. And also there are standards. So stick with your boundaries.
Hi, and welcome back to Calmly Aligned. My name is Priscilla. We are so happy to be back. Today, we are sitting down to explore this thing that we see or hear being thrown around a lot these days, which is boundaries. How do we understand boundaries? How did they come about? What's the difference between boundaries and control? Amanda, when you hear the word boundaries, what comes to mind? What do you think?
So boundaries, my understanding of boundaries is, of course, it's some kind of structure that causes separation. And in relationships, I read that it is limits you set for yourselves for what you consider acceptable.
So when you think about boundaries, are they there to protect people, to protect those people, or are they there more to protect yourself? Or does it vary depending on the relationship? Because I think we want to explore boundaries in relation to all the different, because we relate with so many different people on a daily, right?
Yeah.
It could be with your spouse, it could be with your partner, it could be with your child, it could be with your business partner, it could be with. So I think boundaries were made first and foremost for self-preservation, but also there are instances where they are made actually to protect the other party, not just yourself.
I also think like boundaries are not set in stone. Like I feel like people have different boundaries. I'd imagine the boundaries you have with your siblings, even the different siblings, perhaps the boundaries I have with my brother are different. So you can't say, for instance, like I always say it a lot, I don't like physical touch. I don't hug. But that's not how I am with my friends. I hug my friends all the time. So that is.
So it's a boundary you've set for who now? If you hug your friends, is it for family?
No, that's what I'm saying. I hug my friends all the time. It's not. I don't even think about it. But in my head, if I'm supposed to think about it, like if you're a stranger, it's not the first thing I'll do.
Yeah.
So that's how it is. Sometimes they're not always set in stone.
So what I want to understand, why boundaries? Why set them? For the viewer out there. For example, so many times this thing has existed even before. But it's just that we didn't give it a name. It was things like, oh, that's how that one is, or that one keeps me at arm's length, and different, I guess, statements that we have put in place to label this thing called boundaries.
Yeah.
But why do we think boundaries are important? If at all, are they important?
For sure,
I could be
boundaries
saying
are
they're important and they're not.
Yeah. Like we said, they are setting limits.
Yeah.
And sometimes you set limits, sometimes it's instinctual. Like you're going by instinct. And sometimes it's necessary.
From experience.
Necessary because someone has
crossed the line.
Should I say a trauma response of sorts? It doesn't have to be that chaotic. Or sometimes it's just you go to a place and that's the structure that exists. Like I come to your house and the structure is leave your shoes at the door. So that's the boundary you set. And if I'm going to sit, I have to leave my shoes by the door. So I feel like
So,
that's how boundaries
yeah,
work. Yeah.
for people who establish boundaries and stick to them, because I'm sorry, but I have this thing as a person who's trying to recover from people pleasing. I have this thing where if someone challenges a boundary that I've set, a lot of the time I'm going to try and explain myself too much. And in explaining myself too much, end up even shifting the boundary, or I'm going to close off completely. So for people who struggle with handling, first and foremost, we've understood what boundaries are. We've understood that they're important. So for someone who has had them and maybe found that people trod all over them and crossed the boundaries, how do you handle yourself if you're having a boundary crossed? And also here in our African cultural setting, I find that a lot of the time, especially like with family, if you draw a boundary, you're going to be vilified. Like, why? Why is it there? Then they'll start to say things like, Manango yo mwana muzibu, munango yo mwana tayagala bantu. Oh, munango yo mwana, such things. So for someone who's struggling, and I struggle with boundaries.
I'm equally not comfortable. I don't know how to set boundaries.
Yeah.
Usually I set, you know how they say, is it preservative? What is the word? Preservative rather than offense or defensive? Yes. So there's defensive and offensive boundaries. I usually
Yes.
set the offensive ones. It's after you've crossed the line that I'm like, push back.
Yes.
So yeah, I think that's something I need to learn. Boundaries.
Especially the closer the person is
Yeah,
to
for
you.
sure. You have seen many people complain about, like, men usually say, when you're dating this girl, the friend, she's a problem. You know those things?
Yes, I've had those.
Yeah, even when you're
It's
dating.
usually friend or friends.
Yeah. Even girls are always complaining. These girls that always call their husbands for help when they, like, you're home and with a boyfriend and there's a girl that is stuck in the bar and they are calling your husband or your boyfriend. That's also lack of
Wait.
boundaries.
Wait, what do you mean stuck?
No, like, you know how you have like guy friends. So you've been friends, and then one of them gets into a relationship. Usually, there's always a hard pivot there, like for you
yes.
to now all of a sudden know the boundaries. Like, now that I'm stuck, this is the person you call all when you're stuck.
Usually there's a lot of push and pull.
And then all of a sudden you
Or
have
like
to call him, and
even when
he
it's
has a
been your
girlfriend at
family.
home
Now,
now.
like for me, the struggle was it was my family. If I was stuck, if I was having a hard time with anything, it was a call that I was making the call to someone in the family. And then my husband would be like, and a lot of the time, because men don't emote, they don't, and they don't even talk. They're not talkers. So you're not going to have like a talk of, why have you done this? So it took me a while to realize that, oh my God, all this time it was hurting his feelings.
Yeah, I think that's different because that's that's like disregarding him
Yes.
rather than offending him. Now imagine
Yes.
it was like a guy friend you are calling.
That would have been extremely offensive.
Right?
Just like if he had a person that he was also calling. So it goes both, it runs
girls
both
calling
ways.
at night.
Yes.
Like, we are stuck. You're like, are you the only one number? Are you like the doctor? Are you?
And so many like early relationship, early years, first year of marriage, those teething pains. It's like you go through them, then like you said, you're setting offensive ones because it's after the fact, and then you sit down and say, okay, now let's decide. So we need to learn to set the defense. You call them the defensive boundaries.
Yeah.
We need to learn to
Beforehand.
set the ones beforehand because
Yeah.
I think a lot of us are living in the offensive.
Yeah, most of us. I know an auntie of mine told me about the boundaries. Like, when she got married to a guy that was living in a house with a group of guys. Like, you know how bachelors live.
Yes.
It's like open door policy. People come, sometimes you come from the bar, you just land wherever you land. So now when she entered, of course, the atmosphere changes.
Yes. Of course,
Now,
it has to.
now there's budgeting. She's cleaning. You're not going to just eat her food.
Yes.
You're not just going to come and go
So
to
the
her
living
fridge.
situation had remained the same?
Yeah, because she was
Or the
like,
freedom or the freedom to access the home had remained the same?
I think they wanted it to remain the same. That was the push. They were giving her a hard time. Like, before you were here, before you know those things.
Yes.
And then she was like, no, these things have to change. Of course, there's petty things. It's
And this
not
is a
always
cautionary
overt.
tale, I think, even if it's even like for your auntie's scenario, but even for friends after marriage, I think it's a cautionary tale. The whole, this is how things have been running before you came into the
Yeah.
picture. That stuff has to stop.
Yeah, but sometimes it's
Because sometimes you make it so hard. For example, just try and imagine, like, for example, me and him are married, and you have had certain access to me. And now, after the wedding has gone down and everything, you're feeling like you don't have the same access. I feel like if you start to push against me or to push against him, you're putting me in a position where now I have to choose. And that can be very uncomfortable.
yeah.
So a lot of people are putting friends and family in a situation where it's like you have to choose. And of course, now I know that's an offensive boundary from what you said, because certain things happen and then the conversation comes up like, you can't
Yeah.
keep doing that.
Some things are common sense, right? Like,
You
if
will
there's a
be
woman in the
shocked.
house, you can't just enter the bedroom.
You will be shocked how much that common sense doesn't cut across everyone.
Yeah, there's some things, but I have like a cousin that told us, I do not appreciate you guys calling my partner for any reason whatsoever. So we're like, oh, okay. She doesn't care if you're a sister, a niece, I'll call her.
But were you guys calling the partner? Where were you? Was the partner known to you? Like, had they been together long enough for you guys to be that comfortable?
No, like, when sometimes when people are dating, you're maybe together as
Oh,
a
so you had
friends.
interacted and you had become friends.
Yeah, but even we're not calling him. It's not like we had called him, but I think also Asha had been perhaps beaten before.
Oh, so she was
By
with you guys, she was taking the defensive
yes,
of telling you
yeah,
beforehand that
so that
this boundary has to be drawn.
yes,
Which is fair.
yeah. Even like my stepmom, she didn't want us to overgo when my sister was married, to overgo to her house and sleep over.
Things have to change.
You understand?
Yeah.
But there are scenarios where now it's necessary, because now
And
you can't be the spouse that does not allow your in-laws
access.
feel welcome in their
So it has
son's house.
to be within reason. If you've been given access as an in-law, tochisusa. You can't be in their place. You can't be knocking on their door after your outing and you don't want to go back home.
Yeah, there are those ones.
You're knocking on their door. I can't go home. It's late.
Yeah.
Can I just sleep over? I mean, the one off where you're stuck.
Yeah.
But then after that, it can't be routine.
Yeah.
So,
I was also watching this podcast. Actually, it's one of those some guy that gets people's hot take. And she was like, you should not marry someone or before you like sleep over at their parents' home. And she
Why?
was like, why? She's like, that's like when you live in someone's home, like that's like having a vantage point of how they've grown up.
Like a sneak preview, like a trailer, like how we see movie trailers.
In fact, she said she called it a villain origin story. It's like the movie Mufasa. When they had to show us the origin,
the backstory,
how he all of a sudden
the backstory
became,
of how
yes,
Scar changed, how he became Scar,
how he was betrayed by Scar, how Scar took his girl. For you to understand why all of a sudden he's like that. So because sometimes you like get into relationships with people and then you don't understand
know the
how they
backstory,
work,
the dynamics.
the way they work.
You don't know the dynamics.
Yes. Perhaps them you think they're just rejecting you or their walls are too high. Yet Bambi, if you understood, it would make sense. You'd be like, oh Bambi, this is why she's like this. This is why she doesn't,
But then again, Amanda, let me ask
this is why she locks the door.
Do you
like
know?
You've been in houses where they lock the bedrooms.
Yes.
There are those houses like that. And others, they are free.
Do you know? It's so interesting that you've said that, because the first years of me being married, my spouse used to wonder, like, if we were leaving home, I would leave our bedroom door open. And of course, it's a huge no-no, even not just for him, but even culturally. Like I got to learn that you have to really protect your bedroom. That is your special place. There has to be a boundary there. But for me, I used to leave it open. And my thinking was, first and foremost, we had very young babies.
Yeah.
So things like diapers, pseudo cream, wipes if they had run out, a change of outfit, things like that. The cupboard and the setup was in our bedroom. But also, even as they got older, like my thinking was, my children are more precious to me than anything that is in that bedroom. So if I'm leaving the home and I'm leaving, say, a nanny with my child, what is more precious than that child? What is precious in that bedroom that I have to close it?
Yeah.
So for me, that was my thinking.
Yeah.
But of course, over the years, from even listening to people's stories and points of view, you get to adjust a bit. But I found it so bizarre, and I was laughing because it was an ongoing, like, I can't say argument, but like a thing that kept, like, he's like, but
Like it
why
should
don't
be
you
obvious,
lock?
but it's not.
But why don't you? It's not, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. I've even seen people that have like the bedroom she's on that cleans it. It's
Like very, very strict boundary lines, by the
yeah.
way, are drawn there.
Yeah.
Because of, well, some people have even told me witchcraft is real.
Yeah.
So you're vulnerable in that place holds so much.
Yeah.
But it's also your place of peace, and it should be protected.
You've even seen couples at weddings, they try to restrict the people that approach them or give them
Yes.
gifts directly or
Oh, when I was
because
getting married, someone told me when they are gifting, I don't even remember who it was. I don't think it was my singer, but someone told me you shouldn't hold the gift directly. Like if someone is giving a gift, don't carry it. Someone should be there to receive the gifts for you. And I remember feeling like, why? And they were
yeah.
like, we're protecting. The person was like, you have to protect yourself. People
Yeah.
have weird intentions.
Yeah. You never know what anyone is thinking.
But I feel like if you're prayerful, if you're a Christian, if you're spiritual anyway, you're not necessarily Christian, if you're prayerful, I feel like stuff like that.
No, but there's always spiritual warfare for a reason. There's warfare in everything, physical and spiritual. So if otherwise it would just be like you're a Christian, life should be a breeze.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Yeah.
There are challenges there. People will challenge you and you will have to embark on that journey of spiritual warfare. Yet it could have been prevented.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah. So sometimes they say even Jesus himself had boundaries. I read someone that said that Jesus had boundaries.
Yeah.
I was actually listening to TD Jakes. He talks about how when Jesus came, he was with the people. He dealt with the people. They rejected him. He would go and come back. But even him, when he would see chaos, he would walk away. Remember, he always moved away from the chaos.
Yes, yes.
Whenever they would come to try to kill him, all
Yes.
the apostles, I think, they did the same.
Yes.
But he's like, when he died and resurrected and came back, those last days of him on earth, he did not waste time with debating. He was now teaching his apostles for the mission. So he's like, he's someone who has timing is everything. Is that there comes a time in life where you have to concentrate on those people that are good to you, or yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a boundary set.
Yeah.
Even testing
But
people in the church, you saw how he beats.
Yes, I was
He's
going to
like,
say that even when he was pushing people out of the temple, the
Yeah,
ones who
that's
had
a
come
boundary.
to sell, that was a boundary line
Yeah,
that had been crossed.
yeah,
But even God set boundaries. I mean, by the time in the garden when he told them do not eat the fruit from that tree, that was a boundary,
yeah.
right? So it's not that boundaries, a lot of people I find, especially people, let me not specify, but I find that a lot of people equate drawing a boundary to being bad. And I don't even know what the origin of that is.
No, some people it does. Some people boundaries put up, like I said, boundaries sometimes are trauma response. Some people put boundaries because either they've been burnt before, and now you would feel offended. You're like, this is how she sees me this whole time. Like, let's say you're locking your room. Every time I pass you clutch. your bag. I'll be like,
Oh,
do
that's
you think
offensive.
you
Because
understand?
then it's like, am I a thief?
You
Or do you think that I'm
understand?
going to fight you for? Okay, I get that.
Yes, I have a friend who had like half siblings. So they went to visit. She went to visit her sibling. And she wanted, of course, she had just had a baby, so they came happy to see their sister's baby. But the atmosphere in the house showed them they are not welcome. They carried the baby away. They were like, oh, okay, that was. She was like, you know what? We've been forcing this relationship
And
because
Bambi, in our
you
traditional
think we
setting,
can,
when someone comes to visit your baby and you take the baby away,
yeah. So they're like, so you think we can harm the baby? That's how they took it. They didn't say it
yes,
outright,
yes,
but because of the way they were
you read the
maneuvering,
room.
yeah.
You
So
read
you're
the
like,
room.
okay. So
And yet,
sometimes you
and
have to
yet,
read the
Bambi, you
room.
might find that maybe someone had come with an infection and baby had been sneezing. Or you might find, so that thing is so hard because then some people are of the school of thought that you should explain why you're drawing a boundary. For example, for me, in that case, the times when people would come to see the baby and they didn't see the baby, I would explain. But then some people feel like, why are you explaining yourself? You don't owe anyone an explanation.
Yeah.
Do your thing and carry on with life, as in do it, own it with your chest and move on.
Yeah. I think it depends on the relationship because that's a relationship with siblings now that
That has started to get
are very clear
a
divide.
few thorns in there.
No, it's very clear. There's no few. It's a whole bush.
Yeah.
Because that was the last time they were like, we're not pretending after this. Because of course, over the years there was slight, but now when it got to the baby, they realized, let's let this go. So, anyways, bottom
So
line is
so I want to
boundaries.
ask a question. So now, like on the side of the sibling, the person who has been offended, when you see something like that, depending on the relationship, this if it's your boss, really, it's not that serious, you can let it go. If it's a work colleague and you're not close, maybe, but with a sibling, I really believe that these relationships, much as we need boundaries, relationships need to be nurtured. Like set the boundary and maybe explain why, and if you haven't received an explanation as a sibling and you're hurt, then maybe try and revisit instead of now saying, this is clear.
Yeah.
I understand, even because those things, I'm sure it wasn't a one off. Like you said, there were small things that had been happening that they had seen. But a sibling relationship is so valuable. Would you be for revisit and talk, or would you be for let things play out as they will?
You let it like
Like you
slide
go
off
with
your
the
back.
flow.
I guess, I don't know. We're all not mature enough to have the talk. No one
Yeah.
wants to have that talk. It's
You
uncomfortable.
might even find sometimes your in-laws have set a boundary.
Yeah.
So how do you communicate that?
I feel like, actually, now that you mentioned that, sometimes it's hard to enforce boundaries because of that same reason you might offend someone. So, what I've learned from
How do you
married
set
couples,
boundaries then without it becoming a battleground?
I know.
What you've learned about married couples, continue.
Yeah, so my cousin was explaining to me, for her and her husband, they set about they discussed amongst themselves, and they were like, if there's anything you're seeing or you need to address concerning my people, tell me,
Go through
I'll
me.
go to them directly. Same thing. So even when like these mothers-in-law that come and they are loud and harassing the daughters-in-law, the rule is keep quiet, tell the spouse, and then the spouse deals with their people.
Because it will be better received
Yeah,
from them
or
rather
even
than,
respected,
yeah,
because they'll dismiss it if it's from you, and then they'll just,
yeah.
yeah,
And then you mentioned this mother-in-law thing. Mother-in-laws get such a bad rap. And I know, I'm not trying to say there haven't been some who are truly that, like that video that you showed us sometime
yeah,
of the aunt-in-law. She wasn't even a mother-in-law. She was an aunt-in-law who had come to disorganize. I don't know what had happened. I don't know the backstory.
yeah. Comfortable
Mothers,
enough to slap
yeah.
her
But one of the
daughter-in-law.
things that I want to address today, as just an opinion of mine that I'm sharing, for someone out there to gain a different perspective and maybe understanding. First and foremost, around the time that you have a grown son who's getting married, what's happening? Try and imagine what's happening to you as a woman. Isn't that around the time, because isn't that around the time when menopause is in its full, doing its full thing? So I feel like we need to consider things like that. There's this thing that we Baganda say, okusanga nyazaala osanga amalalo. I was hearing that thing before I was married, and I used to giggle.
I know.
Then after I was married, I used to be like, "Mm." And as a mother of boys,
I
I
know.
don't want anyone having that sentiment towards me.
We even had women praying for orphans.
You know, can you imagine someone praying to find an orphan?
I know.
Can we extend grace, dear
I know.
viewers? Can we extend grace and understand that first and foremost, a lot of the time, you're dealing with someone who's also dealing with something much beyond them, something like hormonal.
Yeah.
And even if it's not hormonal, try and imagine you've been this child, this son of yours has been looking up to you all your life, seeking your opinion, you know, and then all of a sudden that changes. And one day you're sharing, or he's dealing with something and you're advising, and he's like, yeah, I'll have a talk with my. So that can be very.
That's what I said about the villain origin story.
Yeah.
Sometimes people just come up with boundaries
Yeah.
and they haven't read the room.
Oh,
Like-
I love that.
Like you put a boundary there, you're trying to like limit the communication with the woman and her son. You don't know,
You
perhaps
don't
she has been a
know.
widow, and that's all she has. Like, you need to
Yes.
understand the situation
I
you're
love
entering before
that.
you put a boundary.
Before you set
sometimes.
that boundary.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I like that. So that you're setting it from an informed point of view,
Yes.
rather than just saying, I don't like this. Me, I was told this and this. If you're close to your mom,
Yeah.
then it's a problem. So
Yeah.
therefore,
Like I've seen videos of women fighting their mothers-in-law to sit in front of the car.
I find those videos so nonsensical.
Right?
Like the most nonsensical thing that I've seen on the internet, because it is a car. Are you going to carry that seat into the bedroom?
Yeah.
Are you going to carry that seat into life? Is it glued to you? Like it's the same way I see toddlers fighting for a chair or little kids fighting for a chair. For me, that's what I equate it to.
No, that one is just disrespect.
It
Toddlers are
is.
just genuinely trying to one up each other.
Yes.
You fighting your mother-in-law for a seat is just disrespect.
Whether I don't understand
It's
it.
just disrespect.
Yeah.
Let her have it.
Let her have it.
I think
What
that's
will it
maybe an
take off
African
you?
thing of we always revere the elder people, because why would I fight with an old person for a chair? With her
Honestly.
son, even at least if she's like a co-wife.
To prove what?
If you're like a co-wife, we'll fight for the front seat. But that is like mother-in-law. Like,
But some people for some reason view them like their co-wives.
yeah.
One thing that I want to say is that thing of okusanga nyazaala osanga malaalo kikome muno guno mwaka guno. Actually kyandibadde kyakoma dda naye tukikomye kati.
I know.
It's a very, very, very inconsiderate, ignorant statement to make.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For couples who are starting out, as a person who has been through that first year of a lot of push and pull, what do I advise? First and foremost, for some reason, in that push and pull, you start to see each other like you're on opposite sides. So the first thing that I would say is always remember that you're part of the same team. You're one team.
Yeah.
And sit and talk, because I like what you said about reading the room. Always understand the backstory. Why is this person fighting for this thing? Or why does this particular action trigger them? And you keep having the same argument about it. Can you sit down and maybe be vulnerable? And in doing so, maybe show or be kind and considerate.
Yeah.
Because it's very hard to open up and be vulnerable with someone who you feel is being unkind.
Or judgmental.
Or
or just uncompromising. Most boundaries, people just come off very uncompromising.
Yes. That is
actually now, as
true.
the Lugamba was telling you, I watched an episode on Love and Hip Hop. And this girl was fighting the husband because he kept sending the mother money.
Oh.
So now she was trying to put a financial boundary,
like this is our money.
Yes.
Oh no.
I was very puzzled.
That's sad. That makes me so sad.
It
And I'm
does.
sure for her in her head, she had her reasons.
Yeah.
Because also money is another thing that comes between so many people.
But it's his
It's
money, and that's
something
his
that,
mother. Those are
yeah.
those boundaries I don't understand. Like people taking people in homes. We talked about it in Black Tax. Financial boundaries. Like they are necessary, but I mean, relatives, love, especially parents, siblings,
Yeah.
they're
And
necessary,
usually
but
there's something there. Like, why not first sit in a moment when you're both not heated
yeah,
and find out?
yeah.
Because no one wants to see their parents struggle. I don't imagine that even if you're trying to do something, even if you feel like they've lived their life, even if you feel like you're sacrificing, you're taking that money from something important to give it this side. I mean,
Now that you're talking about advice, my advice would be these are things you need to discuss in the beginning. Yeah,
beforehand.
like for me, I've
So those are the
always known.
defensives. This is
Yes,
part of the
the
defensive.
defensives. If you go to see, like if you meet your partner's parents and or parents or family and they don't like you, for me that is a chapter closed. You have to move on. Because if you fight before you're settled, what are you going to do? That's a fight all your life.
It's hard. And who wants to fight?
That's a fight all your
I mean,
life.
love itself comes with its things. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing, but relationships and relating is a daily choice to fight for something.
Yeah.
So you don't want to add an unnecessary fight.
Yeah.
Although the heart can want what it wants, and someone can be like,
No, not when it depends on if the spouse is protecting you, then maybe. But if the family really doesn't like you, my God,
it
that's how
can
you
be so
find
miserable.
they are pushing another wife. They are like, we have a village wife for you. They are like, but your
There's
your
all
kids
manner
are
of agendas happening behind the scenes. Every moment you fall, you see, we told you.
yeah,
Every
no
thing that
grace.
comes up.
Yeah, so boundaries are important. They are biblical. They are necessary. But I think when we're applying them, how to apply them, how to enforce them, we need to do that with grace, understanding, and yeah. And also their standards. So stick with your boundaries,
Yes.
but depending on the relationship anyway, when you're sharing your boundaries.
And I loved that. If you people who are thinking about walking down the aisle, have you had the boundaries? Have you had that discussion? How will things run? What are your absolute deal breakers? Have you talked about them? Yeah,
Yeah.
those conversations need to happen.
Yeah.
So, guys, thank you so much. We want to hear from you. Dear viewers, we want to hear from you. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you think. Tell us if you have, of course, we'll share incognito, or if you're dealing with something like this and you don't even know how to deal with it. I mean, write and share with us. We have access. You never know. We might find you, connect you to someone who can help, connect you to the right people. So let's keep the dialogue going. We want this to be interactive. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye.
Like, subscribe, comment.
Oh,